Wings up, G2 family, and welcome to today's Zoom call. Whether you're a seasoned member of our team or joining us for the very first time, we're truly honored to have you here. Today's session is especially important as we continue to scale the Wellness Plus program, a powerful IRS compliant benefit strategy that's reshaping how businesses serve their employees at no net cost. But before we dive into this exciting update, let me give a little history. G2 Global Network was officially formed in 2014. From day one, commercial lending has been the foundation of our business model. We funded growth, dreams, and big visions all across the country. But just over a year ago, we made a strategic shift, and that shift has brought us here today. We began focusing on wellness and compliance, launching what is now known as Wellness Plus. Since then, we've grown a dedicated national team of over 25 global compliance agents and 100 plus ambassadors committed to transforming the future of employee benefits across America. And today's briefing is a pivotal moment in that journey. This call is all about strategic compliance alignment. And we're thrilled to be joined by two powerful voices in the legal and healthcare space who's helping shape the future of our organization. Eric Miller, CEO, and Drew Fowler, COO of Linked Exchange. This incredible insurtech company is a game changer. Their enterprise-level electronic enrollment platform supports insurance carriers, TPAs, brokers. They're a key partner in how we scale and streamline Wellness Plus nationwide. We're also honored to be joined by attorney Darcy Hitesman of Hitesman Law, one of the nation's leading legal experts in employer-sponsored wellness programs. Hitesman Law specializes in ERISA compliance, HIPAA privacy and security, COBRA administration, IRS Code Sections 105, 106, 125, and 213D, and creating legally sound structures for self-insured wellness benefit plans like Wellness Plus. Darcy's work is foundational to the legal framework that makes tax-saving plans like ours even possible. She's helped shape industry-wide wellness compliance standards. And today, we get her insights directly. And lastly, we're excited to welcome Jamie Perino, Senior Account Representative at Amaze Health, our premier provider of the Wellness Plus benefits. Amaze is redefining how employees access quality care, and their alignment with G2 adds both strength and credibility to everything we offer. Here's what you can expect from today's call. G2's organizational compliance requirement, regulatory changes you need to know, how to implement the Wellness Plus seamlessly, legal guidance fueling G2's national growth, and a live Q&A with both Darcy Hitesman and Amaze Health. Whether you're here to learn, grow, or lead, today is about alignment, strategy, and expansion. So grab a notepad, stay engaged, and lean into this moment. Once again, welcome to G2 Global Network, and get ready to soar. Wings up. Let's get started. Let's go, team.
Wings up, wings up,
wings up, wings up.
Wings up. Yes, we're ready.
Wings up, team. Wings up. So glad to see everyone on the call today. I'm so glad. And we'd like to welcome all of our guests that's with us on today. Brandon, I see you in there. Good to have you with us today. Also see Drew Fowler and Eric Miller and Darcy, attorney Darcy Hitesman. And I see Eris Canal in here. Who else do I see? Oh my God. I see Kaya, Damon, so many people that's in the room today. Jamie, good to have you as a guest. Kimberly, good to have you on the call with us today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over to Eric Miller, one of our global partners. This with Link Exchange. It's because of his platform that we're able to do what we're doing from a technical standpoint. And what I'm going to do is hand this over to him and his team, and he's going to then address our team. He's going to lay out the call flow for today. And however you want to do it, Eric, listen, we are excited to have you with us today. And we hope that you find that this team be a valuable asset, not only to your organization, but we know that you're going to be one to ours. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And the greetings of G2. We always welcome everyone with the greetings of wings up. Okay, so welcome to our team and welcome to the call, Eric.
Hey, thanks, Mo. And I got to tell you, I felt the energy real fast. First, when I was watching the intro, I was like, "Man, I better have something really good to say because that's pretty that's pretty good." And then I felt it come through the computer. So awesome! It's always fun to join an exciting team that's ready to go.
Absolutely, we're excited about you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, team, thanks a lot for letting us join today. Today, the goal is it's going to be a high level view of the entire process, and it's going to start with Heitzman law, and from the compliance aspect and the requirements of running these plans, the self funded concierge medical managed program properly. There's a lot of these types of plans that are in the space, many of which are not as compliant or compliant. And our job and who we partner with is we want to make sure our partners are able to focus on sales, distribution, the development of the business, not focused on is a certain aspect of the approach compliant. Do I need to do research and kind of put an attorney hat on and try to become an attorney or a tech specialist or a medical specialist? And that's not where we want our partners to be. We want best of breed and to make it easy for our partners to be able to engage and to be able to go on board solid compliant business easily. So we will start with Heitzman. Darcy will go through the highlights of the plan. She's in the normal deep dive is a good hour to hour and a half. She's going to give the overview in about 15 minutes to give the high level, and then we will be able to deep dive further based on Mo's direction and what the team wants outside of their trainers and your trainers after we get through today. The second step is going to be going through Amaze Health, doing the same thing. Jamie is phenomenal. Works with cases that are a couple of hundred, maybe sometimes 20, 30 to thousands upon thousands of lives. And she's a specialist at onboarding. And she's going to review the Amaze side, but specifically focus on the onboarding that coordinates Heitzman, Amaze Health, and Link.Exchange to make it that seamless flow. So she'll be reviewing that. And then at the end, Drew Fowlie will come in and Drew will show some of the back end systems inside of Link.Exchange and what connects your organization to these vendors. And when I say vendors, to the team, and making it seamless, because as we all know, when we try to manage or grow business using emails, a lot of times we get buried in emails. We want to make it easy for our users to be able to connect, to be able to get questions answered, which that enables onboarding a business, which drives the development of that business and revenues for everybody on the phone. So Mo, if that's okay with you on that flow, we'll kick it on over to Darcy to get started on her side.
Absolutely. Welcome, Darcy. Good to have you.
Thank you. I am the most technologically illiterate person in the whole world, as I just demonstrated, which is kind of one of the attractions for this kind of a program for me, because it's taking what I've done over almost 38 years being a lawyer and now kind of bringing it up into the current world with all these new opportunities that all of you are having the joy of undertaking right now. So How this program works, and I will try to kind of splash in why this is different from the other programs that are out there in this space, because it gives you a more realistic idea of just how different these two approaches are. Currently, what you'll see out in the space is a lot of talk about a reimbursement arrangement, a self-insured medical reimbursement plan. Now, that's not inaccurate, but it's something that when we go down into the code, we've got real IRS guidance that says you can't do that. So what we have done is taken a different approach where we have real IRS support that says you can do this way. So what we have is a cafeteria plan, a Section 125 plan under the code that allows the participant, the employee, to choose to pay for something pre-tax. And in this particular situation, we have our program, and I don't call it a wellness program. I don't even call it a wellness program on steroids, because what I have found is that if people go and Google wellness, they're coming up with all sorts of articles that say you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And so they may be right that you can't do it the way they're talking about. But again, we are talking about a different construct of how to do this. So we have a cafeteria plan. We have our supplemental plan. That is the plan that is funded through the cafeteria plan salary reduction. If an employer happens to not have group health coverage, we can also have in there a MEC, which means that the employer that might not otherwise have been able to have this kind of a program can have this program, because you have the ability to add the MEC coverage as well. This MEC could be a traditional large, full type of medical program, or it could be kind of the bare bones or the skinny program where the emphasis is on basically the preventive care pieces. This type of a program, our super program, does require that a person who is covered under it also be covered under a group, an employer-sponsored group health plan that is ACA compliant. And that's a requirement that is not based on whether you have 50 employees or not. This is a requirement that if you have a health plan, it either needs to be compliant with the ACA mandates, or it needs to be accepted from them. Well, when we talk about our super plan, it's not compliant with it, but it's not accepted. So what do we have to do? We have to integrate it. And that's why we require that anyone covered under this program also be covered under the employer-sponsored group medical plan, the MEC. So they've paid for these things pre-tax. On the side of our program, we have two parts to it. One is a trigger payment part, and that is where in return for completing a monthly activity, the individual is rewarded or paid an amount. And then we also have access to our very high-end elite, state-of-the-art type of medical providers. And that's why another reason why I don't like to call it wellness, because it's anything from it. This is actual healthcare. And in many cases, it's going to be faster, it's going to be better, and it's going to be more cost effective than what they would get if they were under a high deductible health plan, for example, and either had to pay a lot out of pocket first, or had to wait, 2-3 weeks to get an appointment to have their needs taken a look at. So we have this program, again, paid at pre-tax. The money has been taken out pre-tax, and it's being used to fund this super program. When the event is done for the month, the money, the reward money, is paid out of the plan. At the time it's paid out, it is not taxable to the individual, but it might be. And I say that it might be because at the end of the year, after the 12 months, we look at what is the total of the reward payments received by the individual for the year, and what's the total of the 213D unreimbursed medical expenses. We offset those, reconcile that. If there are more expenses at or the same, more expenses than the amount of total rewards, there's no tax consequence to the individual. If they have not had enough unreimbursed expenses during that plan year, then the differential would be included by that individual as normal income when they do their individual income taxes. So now we bring into the space Amaze, and we bring into the space the technology and the ability to track, the ability to keep people engaged, the ability to follow them. And if it seems like maybe they haven't tried something for a while, we can reach out and contact them and say, hey, what's wrong? Do you not, well, like me, do you not know how to get into the program? There are people like me who might need extra help. Okay, we can monitor them, we can find them, we can help them, because the intent of the program is at the end of that year, everyone has had enough unreimbursed 213D expenses to fully cover the cost of the reward payments that have been received. Now, in the meantime, they have had the use of that money, whether that money is to pay for Little League or, fix the car, whatever it may be, they've had the full use of that money, which I think is just an amazing type of benefit in and of itself, because people are not having to choose, do I put food on the table or do I try and get myself and my family healthier so that perhaps we don't have some of the conditions, diseases, and cost that we might otherwise have if we don't take care of our general health. A couple other things just to bring to the forefront here. All of this is tied to and based upon different IRS code sections, and then also ERISA. And ERISA is the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974. Although it says retirement, we also have to deal with it, and many of you, I'm sure, ERISA, it's like, oh, don't say that word. We've had to deal with it in terms of just general compliance requirements. We have to have a written plan document. If there's over 100 participants on the first day of the plan year, we have to file a 5500. All of those same ERISA requirements would apply to this program as well. Because we are dealing with an employer-sponsored program, it's providing or making available health coverage, and that is one of the big areas that ERISA covers. So we do have ERISA issues. From a code standpoint, again, we have Section 125, which allows the employee to pay. If they're choosing to participate in this program, they pay for it pre-tax salary reduction. Section 125 only allows you to pay pre-tax for certain qualified benefits. Section 105 medical coverage is one of those categories of qualified benefits. So that picks up both the MEC and it picks up our super program. So that's very helpful. Then we also have other requirements. Like I mentioned, if you are going to be covered under the program, you do need to be covered under an ACA compliant employer group health plan. That's an important element. A lot of the competitors out there doing their approach through the reimbursement approach are not complying with that requirement. And that is a huge requirement because that actually is an ACA requirement. There tends to be a little bit of attention on that one, even under this administration. So we want to be as tight and compliant as possible. The difference between the competitor program out there is that their program is based on a reimbursement basis. The end result may be the same as what I just described under the trigger event and the payment. But when we look at the reimbursement side, we have a situation where they are funding salary reducing into a health reimbursement arrangement, an HRA. And even in a lot of the documentation, it specifically says that and then references the IRS notice from 2002. That was the first time the IRS recognized HRAs as uh, independent, kind of separate account-based self-insured medical. Well, that notice that keeps getting referenced, first paragraph says that you cannot fund this through a cafeteria plan on a salary reduction basis. So right out of the box, the other uh, group of people, the other approach that is operating in this space has a huge compliance problem. I mean, they have an IRS notice, which is real. That's real IRS guidance that can be relied upon both by the taxpayer and then also by the regulators in enforcing the IRS provisions. That says you can't do it. There is a cafeteria plan regulation. So under Section 125 itself, under the IRS regulations, you cannot fund an HRA through salary reduction on a pre-tax basis. Then we have Revenue Ruling 2002-80, which was about the same time that HRAs were being first recognized by the IRS, 2002. But it specifically goes through two situations where an employer made available funds for its employees so that when the employee paid the cost of medical coverage, the employee would have no change in its take-home pay. That was viewed either as a loan or an advanced reimbursement. Both of those are not possible under the current way that Section 105 of the tax code is written. Now, the advanced reimbursement side is what a lot of the competitors are doing. They're taking the salary reduction, they're giving the money back to the person in their pay, and this is being done on the assumption that by the end of the year, they will have used enough, they will have been reimbursed enough to eat up that advanced reimbursement. But the whole point is that it's advanced reimbursement. And we have not only the 2002-80 revenue ruling, but we have a number of later pieces by the IRS when they're addressing the use of electronic debit cards with cafeteria plans and health FSAs, where they specifically talk about the requirement that the expense be incurred first and substantiation be provided first before the HRA or the health FSA or the HSA can reimburse the expense. So we have this litany of things that call into serious question the reimbursement approach. Then on the side that we've put the program together based on, which is the payment with the reward, it is the indemnity kind of tax construct. We have a revenue ruling, 69-154. Sorry about that. I've said it like 10 times and I always mix up my numbers on that one. But it's the revenue ruling 69-154. And in that revenue ruling, the IRS went through 4 different situations. And once you know, situation 2 talks about what happens when you have a trigger event, a payment that is more than the trigger event, and how it's going to be taxable income only if you don't have the additional medical expenses to offset that additional payment. So we have real authority on our side to support what we do compared to real authority, but calling into question the basis for the reimbursement approach. And so that's the real kind of down in the weeds difference between the two approaches. And I've always said, you know, you don't want to be the one that is called upon or asked the questions about, well, why did you do it this way when here's the revenue ruling, here's all of this information that says you shouldn't be doing it this way. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that if someone is asking, well, what's your support, you're able to go right through it and it's all clear and it's all still valid, even though it's back from 1969. So I know I got on late and I rushed that a little bit, but I think we're also going to have some questions. So that would really be the time to kind of get into some more of this if anyone does have additional questions.
Darcy.
Excellent.
Oh, yes.
So I'm thinking, and Eric, if you guys are okay with this, you guys can maybe if everybody can maybe put their questions in the chat. That way we can come back and answer, and that we can keep the flow going, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's great.
All right, you guys put your questions in the chat, and we'll do a live Q&A at the end, but let them get through the presentation, and then we'll go with the questions.
Okay. Eric, was there anything else you wanted me to touch on?
No, I think that's good. We're going to debrief with Mo and his executive team tomorrow on next steps on deeper dives. I think that's great. I'm sure you're going to get some questions at the end, but thank you, Darcy, very much. So just hang tight.
Great.
Thank you, Darcy.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All right. Jamie, with Amaze, you are up. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for including me. This is obviously a very high energy group, as Eric said earlier. It was pretty fun watching you guys start up. So thank you for having us. I'm going to do, again, a very quick update on what Amaze is. 15 minutes does not do us justice. So I would probably like to do a deeper dive with you later on as well over Amaze, but we'll just do some high level what we are and how we work within the program to meet compliance issues and to meet the needs of the employees who will be utilizing us. I'm going to share my screen really quick just to give you just some slides to take a look at. Can you guys see that?
Not
yet.
No, we don't.
Not yet.
Okay, let's see. I don't use Zoom a lot, so I might be having let's try this.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, perfect. All right. So really Amaze kind of works on a concierge level of service. We are a nationwide medical practice. We are available 24/7, 365 in all 50 states. And really, it's our goal that
Hey,
people
real
don't.
quick, I think so we can see it looks like maybe your background, but not the slides themselves.
You're not seeing the slides now?
No, if you're using multiple monitors, maybe it's on the
I
other
thought I
one.
had it on two, but maybe I didn't. Let's try. Let me try and move it over to one. Let me see here. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I don't use Zoom often enough to. Let's try it here. Are you seeing it now by chance?
Yes. Yep. There you go.
All right.
But
Get the presentation back up. Okay. Okay.
There you go.
Are you seeing this down? Okay. So as I said, we're a nationwide medical practice. We're available 365, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the real goal of Amaze is to help people find the health and wellness care that they need and deserve. If anyone's gone into the medical system, you understand how difficult it is to get an appointment, to understand the network, to understand finding a doctor within your insurance and setting up the appointment and all the follow-up care. So where Amaze comes in to help these employees who are part of these programs is first and foremost, we want to prevent injury and any sort of illness. So this is kind of our first step when somebody works with us is doing that. We want to then, if somebody does get sick or has an injury, it's our goal to help them navigate through the system. And preferably, we'd like to have them work with one of our physicians first to keep them out of the system, using their insurance, their deductible, having claims for the employer to have to deal with. This is where we come in to help lower the costs overall for anyone's health and wellness that they're working through. We can help with virtual urgent care and emergency room visits. We have a very robust mental health program. We have many specialists on staff, from orthos to cardiologists, dermatologists, rheumatologists. So we always recommend patients call us first and foremost to determine if we can help them. If not, we will work on a referral to find somebody that will work for them instead. We do vision and eye consultations. We can help with some workplace injury triage, physical therapy support. We have many different areas that we work together in as well. So our team is 100% Amaze employees. So our team is always collaborating. An employee might call in and they're not feeling well and they're dealing with a lot of stress and they've got some anxiety going on and they're gaining weight and they're not sleeping well and they've got hives because of everything that's going on, a whole conglomerate of things, let's just say as an example. And when they call in, maybe we start with our dermatologist. Okay, let's take a look at the hives. What's going on? How do we take care of this? Oh, you've got stress and anxiety. And you know what? We're going to put you in touch with one of our mental health providers because we need you to calm down. Let's get this taken care of as well. Oh, and wait, you're not eating well. Let's have you talk with one of our nutritionists and put you in through a program. So you're not going to 3 different physicians. You're going to Amaze first and foremost, and this is how we're going to help you. Now, again, as I mentioned, when we do have to send people out into traditional medical care, which does happen, we will work with you to find a local provider or work with the employee or the patient, as we'd like to call them then, to find the provider that meets their needs, that we can prepare them for the visit, whether that means answering questions or preparing a list of questions, maybe labs or any sort of imaging that needs to be done. We work hand in hand and prepare them. Really, Amaze's goal is to become a trusted healthcare partner for life for every single person who engages with us. And engagement is the most important thing, the foundation of how this works for your program and how employees get engaged with us as well. So quickly, I'm going to just go through what our app looks like so you can understand what the platform is going to look like. Now, when we get a file from Linked Exchange for a new group for enrollment, we will start the education immediately. We will send them their first email, which will have their username and password in it, and they will be encouraged, obviously, to log in right away. Once they get this information and they log in, it's very simple and very straightforward. There's one button, and you can send us a message if it's basically a non-urgent situation, or they can call us if they'd like to speak with someone directly or want a quicker response. Now, going back to the education piece, we have a 6 email campaign, as I mentioned. So if somebody doesn't sign in on the first email, 2 or 3 days later, they're going to get a second email. And if they still haven't signed in, they're going to get a third email. We kind of call it our nagging campaign, but we want to get them engaged. We want to get them using this Amaze platform, which is also going to help with part of what the compliance issue is, getting them into Amaze, getting them to use the education platform. We also then, after they get into the Amaze the first time, there will be a healthcare risk assessment that they will take. And this will give us some idea of topics that need to be addressed with them. Maybe we're seeing that there's some pre-diabetic tendencies that we need to work with, or they're having high stress that we may need to work with. So our health risk assessment, as we start to build this out, will determine what additional courses and education materials they're going to need that we will be sending to them and working with them on. So the app is, really a platform to get them to engage with us and a way for us as well to track what is going on in the utilization. When we send out emails, the first 6, usually within 7 to 10 days after we complete that, we will reach out to the employer or the agent, whichever wants to be involved, and let them know whose emails are going through, who's opened the emails, who hasn't opened the emails, whose emails are bouncing back. That way we can address an issue right off the start and not have people lingering out there, not getting the emails, not knowing what's going on, not understanding the program because they weren't made fully aware and educated of it. So after those initial emails go out, then we continue once a week, every Thursday, we will send out an educational piece of material. And it's relevant to what's going on in the moment. So we've sent one out recently about sunscreen and SPF and how to determine what you should and shouldn't be using. We sent out another one recently about ticks and how to, handle them if they happen. And around Christmas, we'll send something out about dealing with holiday stress and overeating. So it's really just to keep us top of mind and to remind people that we are still here. And maybe it'll trigger them to remember, oh, yes, I need to reach out to Amaze. I've got an issue. But this also is further education that we're able to track and share and follow up as part of the compliance package that's available when they reach out to us. So the app is really just built all together to work with this program as well. Now, Amaze is for the entire family. So we obviously encourage everyone right away to add their family members. It's for significant others and spouses and all children under the age of 26. So it's a benefit for the entire family at no additional charge, no additional cost. And there's never any additional cost for anyone to use us. And that doesn't matter if you call us once a week, once a day, once a year. And it doesn't matter if you're calling for just general primary care, if you're calling for mental health, if you're calling for help shopping for prescriptions, everything is included with the Amaze package and the program. This is really quickly what the app is going to look like. It's this healthcare summary, which is we really encourage people to fill out. This allows us to better work with the patient when they're calling in, any sort of medication that they're taking, any allergies, any histories that they might have. This allows also then our physicians to determine if there's, some chronic stuff going on that maybe we need to work with them on further and make sure that we're reaching their health and wellness goals. Really important to fill this out. Going back with the insurance, we do not bill the insurance. And this is where a lot of employees or patients get confused. They think we're insurance and they're like, I don't need you. I have insurance. And we need to really be sure to educate them. Amaze is not insurance whatsoever. We are a nationwide medical practice available at the touch of a button. It's concierge level of service. So when people are asked why they're putting their insurance in, it's simply so we can be sure that when we're working with them, we're working within their insurance benefits. If someone has a high deductible plan and it's the end of the year and we see they barely use their insurance and we determine they need to have an x-ray or a lab done, we would likely navigate them then to a cash pay option instead, which would probably be less expensive than going through and using their insurance. So it's important that we understand what the insurance is so we can work with the patients. And that's the only reason we really ask for any insurance information on the side of this. So we are also designed to increase utilization, which is going to help with compliance in these programs. So we have geofencing around most of the emergency rooms across the United States. So if someone, jumps in the car, they've got a child who fell down playing football and now they're worried about a concussion or something else going on, they cross into the imaginary fence and it's going to trip the trigger and it's going to send a message. It says, "Hi, John, we noticed you're on your way to the emergency room. Can we help you?" You can hit no and be done. Or if you hit yes, one of our providers will get on the phone instantly. We'll probably want to do a video chat, determine what's going on. And oftentimes people will take us into the emergency room with them so we can understand what's going on and we can continue to follow up and manage and help with the care. We also have date and time-based utilization triggers. If a patient gives us access to a private calendar, it will pick up medical-based terminology and send them a message as well. So if you put on your calendar that you have a dermatologist appointment on August 15th at 2 p.m., it's going to notice that and it's going to send you a message and say, "Hi, Amanda, we see you have an appointment. Can we help you?" Again, you can hit no, or you can hit yes and go through the steps. And oftentimes what happens is people are able to see one of our physicians much sooner, obviously at zero cost, so it's going to cost less money and a lot less time is involved with it. So we encourage people to keep these utilization notifications on. It's a great way as a reminder, and it also keeps you engaged or the patient engaged with Amaze and at the forefront of their mind. The next spot that's pretty important for this program as well is our Learn.Amaze program. This is where the healthcare assessments and some of the additional content that will be used to engage with the patients will come from. So the Education Session Center holds many different courses. We have courses on there about diabetes or high blood pressure, high cholesterol, exercises, maybe some nutrition. So you can go in there and you can do it on your own. Maybe you've got a sore back from sitting in your computer all day and you'd like to figure out what you can do. You can take one of our courses. Or as an example, you're working with one of our physicians and you've been diagnosed with high cholesterol. They would probably have you take a course to understand what's causing this high cholesterol. What can I be doing? What should I be avoiding? The key to a better health and wellness is also education and understanding how you need to play an active role in what's going on in your health and wellness. So this is where all of this ties together, that we want to educate, we want to engage, we're here to help navigate, and we're here to help patients and employees get the best health and wellness care possible at a concierge level of service at zero additional cost anytime they utilize us. So that's a very quick update on how Amaze works and how we work within the program that you guys are presenting. And again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and I will stick around and answer them.
All right. Thank you very much, Jamie, for that overview, and for everyone on. That was excellent. So even though it was quick, it was very informative. So thank you very much. It was great. And so team, what we'll be doing via Mo's direction is scheduling deeper dives into each segment of this entire process. As you can see, there's many moving parts for a plan like this to be run and managed compliantly. So we definitely want to give a shout out to the G2 team for making sure all of those pieces are together, so everybody can focus on the development of their business and the lives for your businesses. So we're going to move over to Drew Fowlie on the linked exchange side now. Drew's our COO. What Drew's going to do is he's going to hit one part, because the visual that we like to provide, and one of the questions is, okay, great, I'm understanding compliance, I'm understanding the benefits that are a part of the Amaze health piece, but when I have a client that is ready to move forward, wants a presentation, and then or I have a question, how do I connect those dots without having to send multiple emails to different people, different companies? And that's where we come in. So from a tech perspective, Drew's going to show really the communication piece. Today is just a very brief overview on how that data comes into us, and then also how we connect all of the G2 approved members to be able to communicate directly to the vendors. And then that is the focus today. And then we also and depending upon who will be engaging the actual enrollment platform aspect, the other on our InsurTech side, our platform is built to manage virtually any type of product, insurance or otherwise. In this particular case, starting with the self-funded concierge managed medical program, and providing a online dynamic proposal out that can go out to potential clients. And there's videos, there's content to explain the plans. There's also the ability to add in various insurance products or voluntary products if that is a part of your process as well. But as the relationship grows and builds, Mo and team will tell us what to add, maybe what to remove, what to modify, but most importantly, what we can do on the consultative side of what we do to make sure that these additional training meetings are set up and supporting the G2 team, to be able to make it is that the process as easy as possible. I will tell you again, there's a lot of moving parts to it, but hopefully the one thing I want you to see from what Drew's going to hit now is, at any given time, there's what we call our talk chat. You have access to a larger team that they'll see your questions, your requests, whether that's a chat request or a more of a one-on-one type training through G2. That access is available to you as well, and then we track those communications to make sure nothing is missed. And no one's perfect. We definitely don't. We have our share of things that we have to go back to or follow back up on, just like any organization. But what you will see and what Drew goes over, it's really like a hierarchy. So it keeps from our support center to our talk chats. It keeps everything aligned. So if there is a follow-up on a certain item that we've got to go back to or help, maybe provide a little additional help on, everything is in one spot, kind of like as Drew would call it, a filing cabinet where we keep all of that information available to you. So Drew, without further ado, I'll turn that over to you.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, team. Glad to be here. And I just ditto what everybody said in regards to what you guys have brought, your energy and everything this morning. What you're looking at right now is what we refer to as the deck board in our CRM. This is where we track business coming in, where we connect the dots basically. And as Eric said, yeah, I do use this analogy of this particular part of our system as like a file cabinet. So it gives us different drawers, or these are swim lanes, columns here where we can go to get either general information or information about carriers, and then also prospects, and actually track them through the entire process of, as they're being enrolled, as they're being implemented, and then as they go to the final stages of ongoing service, whether that's billing, new hires, things of that nature. So all of that is tracked here. It's plugged in with our team. The people that have presented today, they also have access to this information. So I'll show you real quick the file system, how we connect different files, whether it's, the applications, whether it's implementation docs, whatever it is for different carriers. We keep it all in one general location. Those carriers have access to it and can go and grab that information easily and put it into their system as well. So this first card, as I just clicked on this card, it opens up, and you can see this is the sample self-insured concierge medical management program. This is the case card for that. We do have a file naming convention that we keep with each card, so that as it's going through the process, everything's in line. I'm pretty big about that on our group. And then this basically just go real high level, just goes through what you're looking at as far as any particular new business, any existing benefits, gets you thinking about, what plans they have, what needs to maybe be replaced, what you're moving, kind of what you're doing with that. Company information, so it's kind of a high level, tells us, their physical information, whether it's the address, the contact information, emails, phone numbers, the federal EIN, which is important, along with, the dates they were formed as a company, the owner contact, payroll, those types of things. And then also the SIC, the industry codes, the eligible lives, and then, tie it back to you as an agent, who that's going to go through and the flow and context there. And then there's checklists for pre-enrollment and involvement, products requested, and then also your actual, this is carrier specific steps, and then the actual enrollment. So from the very beginning stages, when you're looking at onboarding a client, things that you need to have your eyes on, things that we track, and we do all this stuff to just make sure that things are going to go smoothly. As Eric mentioned, especially in the beginning stages, it's a learning process, right? So we kind of go through different steps with that, and we're here to help you through that process as well. These are different carriers. So this is quick access for the G2 team to be able to access those carriers. And then this is actually just a little test prospect that we set up here, just so that you can see, where this goes, what happens, and what we do with it. Did not fill in any information here just because it was a test, but wanted to mainly just show you the attachments and how we connect the documents to this particular folder and this particular card, this particular file. So there is a folder attached. This is inside the ecosystem of the CRM. I typically just right click on it and open it in a window behind, or tab behind. So I've already done that, and just want you just to be able to see real quick that there's different subfolders. There's different things here. If it's payroll information we need, enrollment reports, products. I think I've got, I do not have any particular subfolders here, but just wanted to quickly share with you that this would be a breakdown. So if you needed Hitesman law and you needed their documents, it could be put here. They would have access right to that particular folder. Amaze, they'll have their documents. There'll be a subfolder here that they would have access to. A neat thing about this system and what we can do is we can actually share this file folder with you. I'm just going to open up details. We can create an actual link. And so we can set this as a public link. We can set this as just a download link. So what we use with a lot of our clients with sensitive information like Social Security, date of birth, their personal health information, we will send a download only link. And then all you have to do is you click on the link. It opens up the web for you. It goes right to that URL. And then the only option that you can do right there is upload. So you just upload that sensitive document with that sensitive information. It comes into our our environment securely, and then you don't have to worry about sending sensitive information like that through email. You have that capability to share, and then once it's in our ecosystem, then we can attach the needed carriers and vendors to those files internally. And the way that we communicate is through what Eric mentioned. We call it, and it's called in the system, talk, and you'll see that at the top here. This is the talk chat section of it. This is basically in our office. It's a way that we can plug in and talk about the details of groups as we're going through the implementation process. What we've found, it's inevitable. It always happens when you try to do a lot of that communication through email, that you'll have an email that has a specific subject matter. Let's say it's about ABC company, and you're going along with dialogue back and forth through that email. And it's inevitable that somehow at some point another company or something else get in that feed, right? That email chain, and they'll start talking about XYZ company. And then when you're searching through emails and you're looking for XYZ, you can't find it. It's not in the search because it's attached to another email chain. So we really focus and work on detailed information here through the talk chat. Nice thing about this is that there is a mobile app to it. So as we've had different conversations with the team, Mo and Gerald and Eric and Malik, we're able to do this on our mobile. It's live, it's fast. If for whatever reason we're tied up in a meeting or we've stepped out, something of nature, we can easily get it on our mobiles and reply to it. So it makes it nice and quick. Eric, if you don't mind, just one other real quick, one more little deck board here is how we track agencies' appointments and tracking of that nature. So we all have access to this. There's a sample agency card. It's pretty much the same flow and concept of the business development board. This one is focused on agencies and making sure that how to get appointed with different carriers, and then having track of that and having access to it. So this keeps us here in line with those different agencies and making sure that producers are appointed and their business goes through, which is very important. So that's all for me, Eric, unless you had something else you wanted me to highlight.
No, I think that's a great overview. And just right before I just turn this back over, Mo, to you, I just want to thank everyone for the time before we move into the questions. But just to make sure and to reiterate, this is a lot of information that you're receiving in one kind of overview. And so don't feel overwhelmed and think you have to know everything about what we've gone over. This is a process. So our job from a link.exchange perspective is to bring the partners in and connect it technologically, but also from a systems perspective, connecting the partners, Heitzman Law, Amaze Health, and any other vendors that may be connected into one spot, making it much easier for communications. So agencies are not having to try to communicate with multiple vendors, multiple emails, and then inevitably you get shifted to someone else. This puts it all in one spot. So even in the situation where we may have a vendor partner where maybe the primary contact leaves the company, if that happens, that's okay, because the replacement that will come in will simply be connected to all of the historical data that's already there. So that process of kind of the download of what's been occurring and the partners and their cases, the support there should, if there is a hiccup, it's very minor in the time for them just to get access and acclimated with you. But most of the time, it's literally one stops, the next picks up, and it's seamless. Our team, from a linked exchange perspective on the consultative side, are always looking down into the system, looking at the chats, and we want to make sure that everything's being answered. If there's ever a challenge or we have something that's missed, Mo or team will be in contact with us, and we'll make sure those responses come back. Ultimately, this is the G2 drives the connectivity into the systems, into the technologies, and our job is there to support your business and support the G2 business, not vice versa. We're not an organization where we say, hey, we understand you have processes, but here's how we do it. We don't do it that way at all. We simply say, tell us how your business works. What of our systems, whether technologies or consultancy, works, and then we can fill the gaps.
Yeah, young,
But
dumb bitch.
and you can tell us from there. So thank you very much for your time, Mo. I'm going to turn it back over to you, and we'll get some questions answered.
Absolutely. Thank you, Eric. Man, what a phenomenal call. Thank you so much, Eric Miller and Drew and Darcy and Jamie. Thank you guys so much for enlightening us and giving us the information that we've been searching for. And just for for the other people on our team, just to FYI, I've known a lot of information that you've seen today could look to be overwhelming. And as Eric said, there's going to be stages of us learning more and more and more as we go. But from a technical standpoint, the access to that system is only going to be with our leadership team and also our agencies. So you guys don't have to worry about, having to deal with that right now. As a matter of fact, we just hired a young lady that'll be managing that as well. So, kind of takes the ball away from you all and not having to deal with that extra, I don't want to call it a headache, but extra, extra task.
Extra step.
Extra step. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I just want to give an opportunity. We're going to ask questions. Our leadership team on here is here. Our president of global compliance is here. Our chief operational officer, Gerald, he's a little sick, so we're not going to bother him today. But Eric Canal is our president of global compliance, as well as Malik Aziz. I just want to make sure you guys have any questions before I go into the Q&A for the team, or any statement that you want to add to this. Eric, or
Yeah, I posted a couple questions in the chat. But yeah, if there's maybe like a one page here on compliance that we can share, and if you could share that Amaze presentation, that would be great as well. And then I guess the one question that I've gotten from, and I guess you kind of answered it, but about things like virtual dental and virtual vision care. A lot of people I think kind of struggle to visualize how that would work. Obviously most dental care, you probably need to be in a facility. So if you could maybe just elaborate on that a little bit, I think that would be helpful.
Sure. Yeah, basically it is. We can't clean someone's teeth yet or do an eye exam. So it's really just more of a second opinion kind of consultation. I don't know if you've ever been to an eye doctor or dentist and they suggest you have a procedure done, or they want you to do more x-rays or something, and you're just not comfortable with it. You're not likely to go find another eye doctor or another dentist to get the second opinion and referral. So you can send the information into us, and we do have an eye doctor and a dentist on staff that can review this information with you and determine if it's the right course of action, or if we can help find a referral to something, different or better. So that's how it would work. Unfortunately, technology is not quite there that we can do. There's still things you have to be seen in person for, but we can help you navigate to the right place if necessary.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, this is Malik Aziz. This is a Darcy question. Prior to the new rollout, we had a hard deck of 30 employees and an X amount of dollars, $30,000 per year on the W-2. Can you address what the new hard deck is, if any, so that we're all on the same page?
Well, I wish I could. Eric, I'm going to have to pull you in on the hard deck aspect, or Drew.
Are you talking about the threshold?
Yes.
The income he's talking about the income threshold for the allotments that are available. So when you have the pre-tax aspect.
Well, and part of it depends on whether there are going to be tiers. Some designs have multiple tiers to basically try and reach down and allow lower paid people to participate, but it would be at a lower amount, and the benefits would be slightly reduced to reflect that lower amount. But as far as the minimum, we've been having personally, I've had a lot of trouble finding what that minimum is, because There are so many other things that come into play as well. Is that person making, 401k salary reduction as well, so that's going to bring the compensation available to do a salary reduction down? Do they have a child support order that they have to take care of? Do they have any other types of maybe a government lien because of not having paid taxes? So I'm sticking with where we've been in the past, but kind of putting an asterisk by it that there are some other things that we need to look at. And some of those will be industry specific, where you happen to have an industry where a lot of people are paid hourly and their hours fluctuate. So we don't really even know if from one paycheck to the next they would have sufficient compensation to salary reduce. And then in other situations, it's more a matter of kind of identifying upfront with the employer some characteristics of the employee workforce. Do you have or have you had issues with child support orders, or do you have a 401k? What's the match? How much do people actually participate in it? So I'm staying with what we've had until I can figure out something that's better.
And there will be, if I can add in, so in the calculation tools, there's multiple
Yes.
tools in the platform. And those calculate what Darcy was speaking to are on the tiers. The nice thing with the new approach, and I shouldn't say new, the compliant approach, is that and Amaze has been wonderful because they've allowed and they created three different levels. Normally it was just one level and it was kind of a higher level and you're in on all services or not. And you could have employees that did not quite meet those minimums. Well, now there are three. And there are three levels of benefits that will be provided. Obviously, the lower level has less benefits, but it also costs less money. But you will see that in the calculation tools when those estimates are run. And then, so it's not I wouldn't say, Darcy, I don't want to get into the compliance side, that it's a 30,000 or 26,254. There's so many variables that go into that. The closest we can get to is on the estimation tool, but then when you run payroll, you will know for sure because all of those other variables will come into play.
Thank you.
One of the things, and Malika, I did want to add to that too, is in the support center. This is right around the compliance piece. Heitzman is sending and it's taking a little bit to get it into our knowledge base, but we have a knowledge base for all for the technologies, the carriers, things like that. But we're adding a Heitzman section to where the sample plan documents will be there. Some vendors will just email those out and they send the samples out to clients or to anyone. What we're doing for Heitzman is bringing it into one support center or knowledge base, so all partners will be able to go in, review those documents, but in addition to those documents, see FAQs. And as the project grows and as the G2 project grows, the more questions you have and the more questions that come up, if it's something that's not in that knowledge base, please let Mo and team know. I'll send that over to us. We'll get that answer and we'll continue to build that. So it really becomes kind of the library to go to, so to speak, for those Q&A and those questions on demand. It could be 2:00 in the morning. You have a case you're working on, it's late. And you're able to get to that information. So that will be built out for you guys as well, custom to your organization.
Thank
And
you.
we'll keep it updated as well. I mean, I know sometimes you answer a question and then you look at the date it was answered and it was like 2020. Well, okay, that doesn't make me feel real confident that it's still good today. But we'll keep those updated as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Did you, Gerald, I know you're sick, but did you want to say anything or did you have any questions? I don't want to be rude.
No, I'm plugging along.
You good? Okay.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
All right, cool. All right, perfect. So we've got a couple of agencies that's signing up with us. Anybody that's on this call, MQ, are you there? Okay, so MQ
Yes,
is
I am. I was on mute. Sorry.
that's okay. MQ is actually going to be an agency. Agent. He's a commercial lender. He's actually our funding advisor for G2 Global Network. Did you have any agency questions in terms of setting up for your team or anything in particular that you want to ask Eric Miller or Darcy, either you or?
Yeah, I might need to schedule a private call. I have quite a few questions on the strategy aspect, right? A key question. I mean, the details, I suppose, could be discussed further with the client in due time. But the key question is, what if Darcy or Eric is speaking with a potential client that has a lot of W-2 workers, now what would they say if they have, say, 1 to 2 minutes to capture the attention in terms of benefits? And then and then following that, if they wish to proceed, what would they say procedurally would be the next steps in the simplest fashion?
Darcy, I can jump in on
Those
that
are
one.
those are the two main things, because the whole idea is to try to
Catch
attract the
them
client
quick.
and then try to have them understand that it is not a convoluted process.
Do you want to go
I'm sorry,
first?
Darcy. Yeah, go ahead, Darcy. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and first of all, it's really hard for me to say anything in 2 minutes, but what I would focus on is the fact that this is an unbelievable benefits package, and it happens to be available to you without having to be out of pocket a lot of money. I mean, it's intended so that you don't have to be out of pocket. It's intended to give you the best of both worlds, continued wages at the level you're at, and this amazing set of providers and services that you will, that are invaluable.
Absolutely.
And just to add to that, we don't want to step. I know G2 has your marketing approaches
Yes.
and and so that's really Mo, and on his side, we're happy to do whatever we can to help support Mo, but that definitely would be through the G2 approach on how to target those specific clients. I absolutely agree with Darcy. But one other thing is when you look at the holistic approach of this plan, so many people are focusing on these plans that are reimbursement plans that Darcy brought up earlier that they aren't necessarily compliant, and they're really focused on Mr. Employer, Ms. Employer. We're going to save you all this money, and it's a set it forget it transactional approach, but it's not meeting those compliance aspects. And what is it really doing for the employee? This plan is and what you will see with this plan is this is going to get you in the mid and larger cases. You can stand this plan up right side by side with traditional self-funded medical plans, which will really help bolster those plans. And then from Darcy's input with the funding mechanism, it's allowing additional benefits for those employees at no direct cost, but it is a mainstream. It absolutely is a mainstream product. And the more what I would suggest is definitely have Mo and team, and Mo, we're here to help. However, we can help you as well on these first couple of presentations. If you take the approach on being more about the overall plan and the benefit for the employee, and oh, by the way, it's going to save you money, versus here, let's go save a lot of money and really not focus on what we're doing for that population. Well, one, they'll understand it better, and two, the longevity of the plan will be much greater because they will see it as a primary benefit in their organizations versus something that they've never really heard of and they may not really understand. Sorry, Mo, I hope that was okay to
Yeah,
kind
that
of
was great. Thank you.
I
And
think
That was more than 2 minutes.
I think you'll be really helpful if you can send a flyer slash 1 2 pager that talks about the benefits and also about the next steps in
yeah,
brief.
And Mo's got
yeah,
that. Mo,
we've got all of that, MQ. So I'm going to
Is
give.
it updated since we last spoke, or is it still the same?
Yeah, we've got updated information. I've got pitch decks for clients. I've got everything. So any flyers, I've got videos explaining. So training is on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, MQs. We train 3 times out of the week. So just hop in on the training, man. We'll teach you about how to position this, what to say, how to sell it, how to, the entire process. So everybody, we're training 3 times out of the week. Okay.
Okay. Can you kindly send me the information? Not
I
on the
will.
training, not just the training, but the updated flyer information.
All right, no problem. And get with
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Eric. Get with Eric when you get a chance.
Yeah, I think MQ, just to put it concisely, I think what you're asking is basically the core benefit is the Amaze Health Concierge, and then it's wrapped around with the other additional benefits that we're able to offer. Things like, the vision or, the mech or any of those other voluntary benefits is wrapped around that concierge. And then it's just placed in, as opposed to the SIMRP, which is in the reimbursement framework. This is using a kind of an offset or wrapped into the cafeteria plan, if I'm correct, Darcy, right?
Yes, and I'm going to start my jar. Every time someone says the SIMRP or the WIMRP, they
I
have
didn't
to
say
put a
it.
dollar
I
in.
said it.
Yeah.
It
So
was
it's
not me.
different from that, but it's similar in that it offers basically, we're offering a concierge medical program with other voluntary benefits wrapped around it.
Right.
And it's all kind of put into a framework so employers can offer this to the employees at no net cost.
Just now, Darcy mentioned that it's different from what? I didn't hear. I
Oh,
didn't hear it amidst the
there,
giggling.
in the space, shared space here, when I was talking about the reimbursement approach and the fact that there were references, to this IRS notice that specifically said you can't fund it this way. So this is a problem. The names of 2 of the programs are SIMRP, Self-Insured Medical Reimbursement Expense Plan, SIMRP, and WIMRP. And I'm not, what's the W? I never figured out what the W was, but it's the same concept where they are both funded through a health reimbursement arrangement, an HRA, which, as I mentioned before, is something that real IRS guidance that can be relied upon and is enforced says you can't do it. So if you hear SIMRP or WIMRP, just kind of have the hair on the back of your neck go up. That's something that just in the back of your mind, you've got concerns on that one.
MQ, I put in, thank you, Darcy. MQ, yesterday's training was the money script, what they don't know is costing them. I just put that inside of the chat, okay? So that'll help you as well. Dave
Okay.
Rose. Go ahead, Dave. You had a question?
Yes. So I guess my question would be for Darcy. Once we have a client onboarded, should they expect to receive? I guess I always call it love letters. Should they expect to receive any kind of occasional love letters from, say, the IRS or anybody like that?
Not that kind of love letter. They might receive a love text, something where the program, Amaze Health, where the program is contacting them, with various information or asking their opinion, or kind of. I'm one that you want to have that back and forth interaction to make sure that you're catching things and also and getting an appreciation for what the people like. So there's going to be that kind of love exchange. They should not be getting any love letters from the IRS. To the extent there's an IRS role in all of this, it's at the end of the year. And here's my techie stuff going again, where they push the magic button on their portal or their phone and they get the list of how much they've received over the year. and they push the other button and they get the list of all of the activities that they participated in and their value, so that they can take those things to the person that does their individual income taxes, or if they do them themselves, they can take those things and use those to do their individual income taxes. That's kind of the love letter at the end of the year, and it's more of a love letter still coming from us that says, okay, end of the year statement, this is what you need to do. And it's not giving tax advice. It's just telling them, you take these numbers, you take these numbers, you reconcile these numbers, and you use those to complete your individual income taxes.
What if a problem turns out, or a problem develops, where you have an issue with IRS? And we all know, the IRS does what they want. They send you letters and expect you to comply.
Yeah, it doesn't
How do you
necessarily
deal with
make
that?
sense.
Is the client, do we indemnify the client, or are they responsible for having their own legal issues, or how does that work?
There are a number of different ways that you can handle that from sort of a service provider standpoint. I mean, you'll have a contract with your client, whether that client is ultimately the employer that sponsors the plan, or another level. There will be contracts that address different liability issues, including indemnification and hold harmless. But there is also a program that Eric is looking into right now and negotiating some terms on, that would provide $500,000 of representation to each employer. I mean, if an employer were asked those questions, and then $10,000 worth of coverage or assistance to an employee participating in the program if they received an IRS inquiry. So we're working on that one.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, doesn't most court jurisdictions for IRS issues, doesn't that land in federal court more so than like a common police court, if it ever reaches that stage?
Actually, it would probably end up in federal tax court. I have never, in 37 years, I have never been in federal tax court. Typically, there are inquiries or audits conducted, and there's a resolution. It doesn't go to court. I mean, we get resolution along the way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just asking, like, worst case scenario. But
worst case scenario, tax court.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great questions. I do have one other question. Wait, hold on. Brandon, did you have any questions? Brandon Millstone, did you have something?
Yeah, mine are kind of one-offs. The group probably knows these, but I'll ask anyway, real quick. I'm a little confused by, one of the things is that the employee gets benefits or funds to go through smoking cessations, wellness, mental, things of that nature, stress management, life at the gym. How does that come back to them so they can use that? How does that come back to them so they can actually go to the gym and write it off? I don't understand how that works.
The getting dollars is one way that a lot of wellness programs have been set up, where if you do something specific, then you get dollars. And sometimes those dollars, if they're paid to you in cash, then they're taxable. If they're paid to you, for example, on your behalf, to take down the cost of major medical coverage by $10 a week. There are a lot of different ways to get dollars or value back to the individual. But that's really more, and it's part of the reason why I don't like to call this type of program wellness, because that's not the way this is structured. An employer certainly could have that kind of a wellness program, together with this kind of a program or with a major medical. But that's structured differently, where you are actually having people do something specific, and then the question is whether it's participatory or whether they need to attain a certain weight or attain a certain blood pressure or glucose level, and you're rewarding them that way with dollars. So if they wanted that kind of a program, it would be a different kind of a program. Here, however, there will be some, I mean, smoking cessation, for example, and weight, help with weight issues. Those would all be part of the services that are available through Amaze. So they would have access to all those services, and they would not be charged anything additional. So we wouldn't have that issue of you do something, you get money, and now what do you do with the money so that you don't get taxed? This is a little bit different where you're actually purchasing kind of access to Amaze and all of its service providers and services. Uh, the membership, the club membership, for example, that's a very common wellness type of benefit where you have a wellness plan and they say if you go to the gym 3 times a month, we'll pay, you know, the cost of your membership for the month. Well, if that happens, guess what? That's taxable. We don't have a way to really make that not taxable. So I am really, I apologize. I just got a note that my mom has fallen and I have to go call an ambulance.
Okay,
But
bye.
I can give you lots of information on that.
Okay.
Just
Go ahead,
not at the
Darcy,
moment.
real
Yeah,
I
do your
apologize.
thing. Yeah. Mo, I think that's one of the things that you had stressed in that YouTube video.
Yes.
Was just that. One of the things you stressed, which I made, significant notes, was, employee sponsored programs that allow employees to use pre-tax dollars to pay for certain things such as childcare,
Yes.
mental health, medical, dental, life, gym, smoking cessation, weight loss, stress management. So my big question is obviously, how am I getting those funds to do that? Or how am I turning into my HR department that I just joined a gym and because they're going to ask us, so I'll just leave it out.
Yeah.
Is how do I get the funds to pay for those things that I'm using?
Yeah, exactly. So we want to let Eric, you want to let her handle that question, like where it's coming from the program, or is Jamie
She kind of keeps reverting back to like that's that other membership or offer that others are using that aren't totally compliant.
So, Mo, what I would do is I think it'd be tomorrow on our debrief with you. Please get all the feedback from your team, and I think we need to set up some deeper dives into the compliance on that piece of it. So I think we've accomplished the goal of the general overview. I can speak to the last question though. The plan in this design with Heitzman is built not only to provide the additional services that Amaze Health provides, but also your receipts at the end of the year. You're able to post those receipts that will work against the rewards that you are receiving through the self-funded plan. So if you have co-pays, deductibles, now as long as you're not using some other tax mechanism for those, you can use the receipts for the co-pays, deductibles, the things like you were just speaking of, which works as an offset to the reward that you receive. So most of the time, your standard premium is $980 or $1,220 for a single or a family, depending upon the customization of the plan. If there's any additional customizations, it could cost a little more, a little less. That's up to Mo and his team. But let's say it's a family $1,220. You have a pre-tax of $1,220. Your reinsertion, maybe after your fees, might be $1,150, $1,100, whatever those break down to be. That is the reward that's being paid back. Now, if you get to the end of the year, and that's where Darcy was speaking of, if you receive more reward than the benefit received, then that could create that potential tax liability. However, Darcy's plan is designed to be able to allow you to use those additional offsets, copays, deductibles, gym memberships, those things which are 213D compliant. That works with your plan at the end of the year. And that's a part of the calculation that we work, the linked exchange works with Amaze Health as well as Heitzman Law to provide those numbers back to all of the participants in the plan. and she'll be able to deeper dive into that. But it's much more robust then, and that's a great question, though. Great question.
Okay.
Excellent question.
And then Mo, this I know I kept trying to go back on YouTube. I'm sorry if I'm wasting anyone's time, but
No, you're
on
fine.
the FICA, the 7.65 each that the employer pays and the employee pays, after the reduction, what is that number? Was it 0.6? So you're only paying 0.6 at the end of the day?
So
Right now it's
FICA,
7.
yeah,
Go
what
ahead.
video you referring to? We were
I don't know. It's one Christina had sent me.
yeah, so we were just going over the breakdown of how individuals are charged. So FICA is about 7.65% is what they pay. I believe Social Security, I think it was like 1 point something. And then there was I forget what the other, but it was overall about 13.6%, I believe, that was going out in FICA tax cut FICA payments.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. So is that what
And
you're
so
asking?
with the break that you're getting from joining into the program, what does that lower that down to?
Right. So that's a great question. I actually raised that question one day because I got excited because I thought it was the full 13%. I was like, oh, shoot, but it's not the full 13%. That breakdown, I don't know what the exact number is. That's going to be dependent on the taxable income that that the program's been based on, so that it's gonna vary.
Okay.
So it will vary. It's not like a solid numbers, like whether it's 5% or 6% or anything like that. It's going to definitely vary.
And so we'll get that number when we get the breakdown after getting somebody on board.
Absolutely, you'll get that
Okay.
number. So the range is $500 to $1,000
Right.
per employee. That's going to be the range. So I always just tell people between $500 to $1,000 per employee is what we're looking at in terms of getting you in savings.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think it was someone. Anthony, did you have a question too? Was someone else? Was that Anthony?
I did, but it was answered just before Darcy finished.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay. I think that if that's all, I think we may have answered. Is anything in the chat? Let's see. I think that we're good to go. We're going to have a debriefing with the team tomorrow. And then we will, with our G2 executive team, we will be meeting on Monday, and we'll be going over all of this on Monday, okay? So once again, I want to extend my gratitude and appreciation to our back-end team that came out today to come and speak with us. I wanted you guys to kind of get a chance to meet the individuals on our back-end team that's making what we do possible. Okay, just so you can get a better grasp and a better understanding. So I'm grateful for Drew, and grateful for Eric and Kimberly and Jamie and Darcy, and we send our prayers out to Darcy's mom, and we hope that she's okay. And we're grateful for our executive team that showed up as well, and each and every one of you, those that's coming out to get more information and to become agencies. I see 3 people on here that's going to become agencies, and then the rest of you all that's global compliance agents. And I don't know if our ambassadors even got the memo. So I was looking for all of our ambassadors to be on this call. So we'll make sure on the next call, all of the ambassadors are here as well. Okay. But thank you once again. You guys remember, it's all about the energy, and it's all about elevation. And the higher we go up, the better things get. So stick with this, stay in the game, and I will see you all on Monday for Monday's Level Up with Malik at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget, on tomorrow, we will be here for our mindset call. Tomorrow, we're dealing with the power of self-perception. The power of self-perception. How do you perceive yourself? You're not what others say, but you're everything that you say about yourself, okay? So we're going to keep going up and keep going higher. Wings up, and I'll see each and every one of you all at the top.